Welcome back, traders and investors. We have Kenny Glick on the line, and he is the owner and creator of HitTheBid.com. Kenny, instead of me going into your way you got started in the markets, why don't you tell our audience how you ended up in this crazy profession?
All right. Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. This is early for me, so let me just stretch a little bit.
Where you at? Where you
Well,
at?
I'm in sunny Marlboro, New Jersey right now, but it's late August, so getting up before 9 o'clock. But it's a pleasant morning. I woke up. I knew ITMN had gotten taken over this morning. Myself and a few of my guys are still in this stock.
Good.
Sadly, we had sold a bunch on that rumor pop a couple of days ago. It's funny. I made a video. I do a lot of videos on YouTube. I'll get to hit the bid in a second, but I was making a video live, and ITM was ripping up in the background. I had to cut the video short, and we lightened up on our position. Sadly, it's up 20 points right now, but at least we got something out of it.
Okay, and so you started out as your professional life as a stand-up comic. Was that did you try and do that in the Big Apple, or was that something you started in college, or how did you begin in that profession?
I grew up in Brooklyn, Sheepshead Bay. There was a comedy club over there called Pips, and strolled in there when I was 18 years old, a long time ago. And, I did a pretty good job, apparently, for the owner to invite me back. And, I started going to the city. I was running with Andrew Dice Clay. You might know the guy. Mm-hmm. And his friend was Wheels Parisi. And I was hanging with those guys back in the day. They wanted me to move out to California, but I was a little bit afraid to leave the family at such a young age, so I decided to stay back. But I was doing some shows in Manhattan. But what happened was, a gentleman in a suit came up to me and said, "Hey, you're a funny guy." And here I am thinking, okay, great, this guy must be an agent who wears a suit to a comedy club. And turned out to be a stockbroker. And he's like, "Hey, you could use your personality to come and sell stocks." And next thing you know, I'm out in Long Island, and it was just the shadiest thing I had ever seen. I was making. You've seen the movie Boiler Room, and you've seen the movies. That's pretty much where I was at. And then from firm to firm, each one talking about how they were going to be better than the last firm, and introducing me to IPOs, and I didn't even know what an IPO was at the time. Long story short, I realized that this was not for me. So it was at the beginning of the day trading craze where I had stumbled onto a fraternity brother. And he said, "Why don't you come and trade for yourself?" And I said, "I didn't even know you could do that." Next thing you know, I'm the poster child for day trading. If you search my name on the internet, you'll see I was on 2020 and 48 hours, most of the time defending the industry, because we were always known as these lunatic gamblers that didn't really know what the market was all about. Somewhat true for some guys, but I was taking it quite serious at the time, and I'm still in it. So it's been pretty fun. I started a website. They call me like the grandfather of this streaming. Everybody seems to have a streaming website or a chat room right now, but when I did it, it was a little bit more difficult because we had to actually build it ourselves. And I thought it'd be fun. I was like, hey, if I'm sitting here trading, I might as well talk to other people and see if anybody wants to hear what I have to say. And it caught on. And I've been doing it ever since. I merged with a couple of guys and got, 75, 100 solid guys in the room. We've got, 8 or 9 guys that, follow different criteria of the market. I like to trade more on sentiment and VWAP, volume weighted average price, for you fans of technical analysis out there. And so far, it's been it's been a crazy ride since this last May, when I just decided that, okay, I guess the government really has taken over the stock market. I've become more of a position trader, more of a swing trader, and day trading is more like a video game for me, more or less. I just follow one or two things that really have worked for the last 20 years. If they don't come around, I don't trade, and it's a nice recipe for success.
You talk about a lot of important things there about your trading style, also how you came to change with the markets, and that's very important. Now it says here that you had success when you got traded the .com bubble, but you had success during the crash. Now, for most people, when they're just getting started in those kind of situations, most people are kind of have that upside bias. So did you have success, during the crash in the .com bubble by just stabbing at bottoms and getting lucky, or were you actively trading the short side?
I was actively trading the short side. Again, coming from my background and not having any trust of this industry, when the market was going up every day, it just didn't make any sense to me. Also, my mom, she made me a pessimist, so I'm always expecting things to go wrong. So I was just waiting for something bad to happen. And as soon as I started hearing people saying, this time is different, and you probably read that phrase a million times, you've heard it a million times, and once they started talking that earnings didn't matter, and this time is different, and I looked at a few of these companies, and they had 9 employees, and they were trading at valuations next to GE and GM. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy some puts on some of these stocks, and I'm going to put some short positions on. And I was getting hammered for a while, stocks like Akamai in the 300s. There was one called Crossroads, which was my favorite, CRDS. And a lot of the B2B, they don't even exist anymore. B2B was the greatest thing since sliced bread, CMRC, and you had InfoSpace. And, on the way up, I was doing all right, but if I bought a stock at 8 and it went to 12 in a day, I thought I was a hero, and next thing you know, it was a $50 stock. So I was sitting there just waiting for them to turn, and most of them went to 200-300, but when they did turn, instead of me sitting there just trying to take that short-term gain, I just sat and I waited and I waited, and you blink, and some of these $300 stocks were down to 200, then they were down to 100, and some of them went to $1 and never were heard from again. So, yeah, it was a lot more fun for me on the downside because I just got to sit there and, I really enjoy making money when most people are confused.
Yeah, that's so for people. I mean, we have some new traders, experienced traders that are in our chat room and listen to our shows and listen to our rebroadcast, and a lot of these people haven't traded the short side or not familiar with the short side. What I mean, and obviously it's probably a good thing the way this market's been going up. But what
I was just going to say,
what tips would you give to traders now that haven't really entertained the short side and have had this long side bias, but are what tips do you have for them to catch this market if and when it turns? And I mean, there is going to be pullbacks. What are some of the things you look for?
All right, that's a great question. First of all, let me just express one thing. Please do not short stocks right now. This is possibly the greatest market I've ever seen, and I have been trading, pretty much since 1987. I love the stock market. This is not a market you want to be shorting. There's a great opportunity every once in a while, and I'll get to that. But this is a market where, again, if you've watched some of my videos, and please forgive me if you've seen some of my videos and been insulted. I do some crazy stuff on the internet, but it's not
like
a market
what?
to be shorting.
What do you
this
do?
Is a market
what do you do that's crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, this is all adults here. What did you do that was crazy?
I use some off-color language that some people get, put off by. I often wear no shirt in my videos, and people get insulted by my bare-chested self on the videos. But if you've seen them, and I reckon myself a rapper at one point, and then an actor in some other videos, and go take a look at it. But we'll talk about shorting right now. I since the flash crash, I've had this conspiracy that not only did the market get fixed that day,